All right, perfect. So let's see here. Let's get back to Zoom and let's get back to sharing our screen. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we are going to apply for our employer identification number, our EIN for our 508c1A, okay? Because it is a nonprofit tax exempt organization and we are exempt from federal taxes. So we're going to apply for the EIN for the federal tax exemption, okay? So you have to choose if you want to go through this process or not, because you're going to have to provide your personal information to the IRS, okay? So what you want to do is either you're going to do the 9/8, which you guys received the instructions via email earlier today, or you're going to do the EIN. So I'm going to show you the EIN process because it's instant and it is convenient. The first thing you're going to do is go to www.irs.gov. Once you reach that page, then you're going to go to apply for employer ID number. So I'm going to click here. And then from here, they're letting us know we're going to apply for the employer identification number, EIN online. It shows you the hours of operation, Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 EST, and the qualifications. So one, you need to determine if you're eligible. So the first thing is that you can apply for an EIN for a business that's located in the U.S. or U.S. territories. And the person who is applying must have a valid, valid social or TIN or EIN, and you're limited to one EIN per responsible party per day. So the application has to be done in one session. It times out after 15 minutes, and then you want to verify that everything's correct before you submit your application. So we're going to go to apply online now. And then from there, they bring us to this page, which shows us about the website that we're about to begin. So just go to begin application. So now the first thing that they ask you is what type of legal structure is applying for the EIN. So you have many different options here. You have sole proprietor, partnership, corporation, limited liability company, estate, trust, right? But we are applying for an FBO. So we're going to choose the last option that says view additional types. We're going to go there and then we're going to press continue. And then now what they're doing is they're letting us know the additional types. So we're going to go all the way down to the bottom right corner to where it says other nonprofit tax exempt organizations. Doesn't it sound like what we created today? It's a nonprofit tax exempt organization. So we're going to choose that option and then we're going to press continue. And then here they're letting us know that a nonprofit organization is an entity organized and operated for one or more of the purposes listed under the 501 of the IRC. Okay, so that's in alignment with the organization that we have created today. We're going to press continue. So next they're asking, why is the nonprofit tax exempt organization requesting an EIN? Well, the reason that we're requesting an EIN is we're going to go down to the third option that says banking purposes. We're going to press continue. And then after that, they're going to ask us, tell us about the responsible party. So the responsible party is you. That responsible party is either going to be an authorized member or officer of the organization, okay? So that is the trustees, the grantor, the beneficiaries, other members. So it could be anyone within your organization. It doesn't have to be you, or it can be a third party that is going to apply for your EIN on behalf of the organization. So you figure out which way that you want to do it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put my information in here real quick. Hold on a second. Let me adjust this. There we go. All right, hold on. All right, so once you've put in your information, then what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of the following. So you're either going to choose the first option that says I'm a responsible or duly authorized member or officer having knowledge of this organization affairs, or if you're a third party, then you're going to choose third party. And then you're going to press continue. So once you press continue, they are going to ask you for the physical address of the organization. So at that point, that is where you're going to put in your virtual address, okay? So go ahead and type in your virtual address, and then from there, you're going to press continue. So I'm putting in my virtual address here. Three, 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 three. All right, awesome. So now I'm going to press continue. All right, and so now they're asking if you want to use the address that you physically entered or if you want to use the one that's found in the database. So I always use the one that I entered, and be mindful of the address that you're putting in here, because if you are going to like go for credit or anything like that, you want to use the same address that you have used for the IRS, okay? So now they're asking you for the information of the FBO. So we're going to put in the legal name that you guys have created today for the FBO. So I'm going to put in Christmas Ministry. That's the name of my FBO. The second one is trade name or doing business as. Do you have a DBA? Yes or no? So I'm going to put no, or just leave it blank. Next, they're asking for the county of where the nonprofit tax exempt organization is located. So go ahead and put in your county. So I'm going to put in mine, and then they're going to ask for the state where it's located, and they're going to ask for the start date. Okay. So, so it's the state of Florida for me. And then the start date is whatever month and year that you started. So for us, if we're starting today, we're going to put December 2023, okay? And then we're going to press continue. And then from there, they're going to ask us some questions. So these questions are going to be all things that would actually disqualify you from being a nonprofit tax exempt organization. So most likely you're not going to answer yes to any of these. So the first one says, does your business own a highway motor vehicle with taxable gross weight of 55,000 pounds or more? So we're going to put no. Does your business involve gambling or wagering? No. Does your business need to file a Form 720 quarterly federal tax return? No. Does your business sell or manufacture alcohol, tobacco, or firearms? No. And then lastly, do you have or do you expect to have employees who will receive a W-2? No. So we already know that our faith-based organization cannot have W-2 employees. We're going to press continue. So once we press continue, now they're asking us, what does your business or organization do? So we're going to scroll down to the bottom to where it says other, right? Because it doesn't do any of those things. Retail, transportation, warehouse, none of that stuff. So we press other, and then we press continue. And then after that, they're going to ask us to choose what the other is. So here we're going to go down to the third option that says we're an organization such as religious, environmental, social, civic, or athletic. So that is the most applicable one. You're going to choose that option. You're going to press continue. Now, out of these options, they want to know which one is the primary activity. So you're going to go all the way down to the bottom to where it says other, and then you're going to put faith-based organization. That's your primary activity. And then you're going to press continue. So the last thing they're asking you is, how would you like to receive your EIN confirmation letter? So I would like to receive the letter online, because then I have instant access and I can download it, save it onto my computer, and then I can print it out at home versus receiving it in the mail, and it takes 4 weeks for delivery. That's absolutely insane. So go ahead and press the first option that says receive letter online, and then press continue. So now at this point in time, they are going to ask you to verify your information. So go ahead and verify your information, and then press submit. So once you press submit, then they are going to issue you an EIN. And so that's the EIN number for your organization, and that is the legal name of your organization. And so what you want to do is you want to click here for your EIN confirmation letter. So you're going to go ahead and click there, and then this is your EIN confirmation letter, okay? So it just lets you know that that you are exempt from taxes. So this is the EIN that you're going to use to open up your bank account, okay? So we are all done. I'm going to open up the floor for Q&A. I did see some stuff in the chat, and I do see one hand open, up. So go ahead, Brian, with your question while I dig through the chat to see some of the questions that I saw earlier.
Okay, let's see here.
Oh, I only see one question actually. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know if there was other questions because remember I lost access for like 2 minutes. So either put your question in the chat or raise your hand, but I would prefer for you to raise your hand. So yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Okay. Uh, can meeting with the Board of Ministry Trust hold meetings anywhere, or does it have to be where the it's listed on the documents like the city and state?
It could be
Or they able
anywhere.
to?
It could be
Okay.
anywhere in the world.
Okay.
And it could be
Um,
virtual. It could be virtually as well.
okay. Can all real estate within the three trusts be housed under the ministry, or is it better to kind of have it spread out?
So I really need clarification for that question. Can all real estate housed in all three trusts? So you have to understand those other trusts are not associated with your ministry. So these are separate entities. So I need clarification on the question.
Um, I guess because of tax exemption purposes, I was thinking that possibly um you could house your properties under the trust, say like I know in the family trust we talked about how someone can operate out of the family trust without having to pay for another property to I guess live or occupy in. I guess in my thought process was that uh if all properties underneath the ministry that you own versus putting it under your family trust um, or a business trust that potentially have benefits in a sense, but I also think now looking back at it that there could be some issues ran into with doing that, at least from the
Oh,
business aspect.
okay. So with your ministry trust, if you want to take advantage of being tax exempt from property taxes, that's a good real estate move, especially if you're an investor. The only thing is that you are limited to only one property. So your
Okay.
FBO, your entity can only be qualified for a property tax exemption for one property. So if you have 10 properties, you can only choose one for that one FBO. If you wanted all 10 properties to be exempt, and for you to actually benefit from not having to pay property taxes, then you would need to open up 10 FBOs and to have one property per FBO.
Okay. Um, Another question. Does making any changes to your what document do we just complete? Drawing a blank right now. To your
The ministry trust?
well, to any trust. So to your documentation, like the trust documentation we just created today or yesterday.
Mhm.
If you update that trust in any way, shape, or form, like the I guess basically the constitution of your trust. If you update that in any way, does that trigger any type of audits within the IRS?
No. Your
Okay.
trust, your trust contents is private and no one knows that you're making an amendment but you and your board.
Okay. So that's
Everything,
how to okay.
everything, yeah, everything's private. So, and it's as private as you want it to be because sometimes these third party institutions, they will ask you to disclose your trust. So if you go to the bank, if you go to a title company, sometimes they'll ask you. And so you have to have the foresight to decline and let them know that they're violating your privacy rights. Okay?
Okay.
Because you don't want to walk up in there and hand them 50 pages of your trust. That's a no-no, because then you've just violated your estate, and you've allowed, external people and companies to have access to your trust and a copy of it. So
Right.
yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it.
Okay. Um, where did you enter the address on the certificate of the trust at? I was trying to see, but I kind of got lost.
Yeah, so I just created another line under where four under three. So I just made it number 4 and I put address.
Okay.
Do you
Okay.
do you want me to show you?
Yes, if you could. I was trying to just do it myself, but
Okay. So when I went here to certificate, all I did was I went here to number 3, and then I just press enter, and then I just put address, and I just put the current address of the trust is, and then I typed in the address.
okay. Okay. That's yep, so all my questions. All right.
All right, thank you, Brian. Next we
Thank
have
you.
Marcus. You're welcome.
Excuse me. I just wanted to confirm two things. The beneficiary of the ministry trust, did you say that was the family trust, or did you say that would be anything else? Like a regular, like how any other trust would be?
So I said that you can choose your family trust or any other entity, but it can't be a natural person. So it has to be an entity.
That's what I thought you said. Okay. And my second question is, um, does the trustees also have to notarize anything when it comes to the trust? Or do you just notarize one time and call it a day, or does the trustees also have to notarize something?
So they have to notarize the certificate of trust. So you have the first trustee will notarize the first trustee will notarize the indenture, and then and pretty much all the schedules, and then the certificate of trust needs to be notarized by all the acting trustees. So if you appoint a co-trustee, then both names need to be on there and both people need to notarize the certificate of trust.
Understood. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we have Myra. Hi, Myra, how are you? Are you able to come off mute? I don't know. I see your hand, but I know that you told me that you were at work. All right, we're gonna go to Gustavo. Hi, Gustavo.
Hi everyone, how you doing, guys?
Good. How are you?
I have a couple of questions.
Okay,
Let's
perfect.
start for the easy ones. You mentioned a limit of $5,000 for the trust. I mean, that is monthly. I hear
Oh,
this is
that's annually. So, the
okay.
trust is it's a nonprofit, right?
Okay.
So, if you have income that's coming in that is greater than 5,000 for the year, then you would qualify and you would be required to pay taxes and
Okay.
to file a tax return. So
Oh,
you do not have to file a tax return for this entity unless you have more than 5,000 coming in that is labeled as income. Okay. So
everything has to
some
be donations, gifts,
yes,
whatever.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Another easy question that I think I should have asked Monday. How many copies do you notarize? Only one?
So I always recommend that you notarize two original copies and that you keep them in two separate locations. One location where you have it in your binder, and that's the one that you're actively using. And then another one, because we have natural disasters, right? We have tsunamis, hurricanes, tornadoes, all kind of stuff. So you never know. So you don't want them to be both in the same location, and then, anything happens. So you want it to be in a separate location, like a safety deposit box or something, or with a co-trustee.
Thank you for that. The third question, this trust follow the same way that the other ones, that we are not going to use any personal address, physical address. We have to get a different address, so they are not tied to us.
Yeah, so if you're going to maintain this FBO being private, then yes, you want to follow that same guideline. But some people choose, I have some students who have chosen to go the public route just because they want public funding and they want government funding. So that's, totally fine too. And then you wouldn't be restricted to which address you use. But if you want to remain private, then use the same guidelines of not using an address that's associated with you.
Okay, and a question. Can we use the same, let's say yesterday I was applying for a virtual address. Can I use the same for the three trusts, or is recommended? Yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can use the same address for all three trusts.
Okay, okay. So the last question.
Yeah.
The whole idea was to set the business trust to feed the family trust, right? And then whatever is leftovers, if we have leftovers, go to the FBO.
Correct. Yep, you
Now,
donate it.
we are here discussing that the FBO will have as a beneficiary the family trust, and the funds will go back to the family. Is that correct?
So that's only if you do like a disbursement or something. So if you do like a disbursement, so there's several different ways that you can like pull money out of the ministry. So you can do a disbursement. You can also do a 1099 where you issue a service, or you can disperse loans.
Okay, okay, okay. I see. I got it wrong. There is no this. Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you very much.
yeah, so you're so with the way that the FBO is not designed like the other trusts, like the business trust and the family trust, to be giving out these distributions. So it's not
Okay.
designed that way. It's designed to give out grants, it's designed to do other donations. So it's not really the reason why there is a beneficiary is mainly for the purpose of when the FBO is done, any assets will go to that entity.
Okay.
So I'm running a charity and my charity is done. I ran my charity for 20 years. What am I going to do? Well, my charity has, $1.2 million in it, right? But my charity is already terminated. So I listed a beneficiary so that once my charity is done, then my 1.2 that's inside of here can go to, a foundation, right? Like let's just say the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So that's my beneficiary, and then my assets are going to go there once my affairs are done with this endeavor.
Okay. I will not give money to them, but yes. So I follow up. So would not be smart, for example, if I decide to donate part of my salary to the FBO, right? So I reduce my taxes on my salary and I benefit the FBO. Would that be a good strategy?
I
Because I
mean, it
cannot
is,
take the money out.
yeah, it is a good strategy. You can pull money out because we already put in there that you're able to take out loans, right? So let's just say you put 10,000 in there from your W-2. Now you're going to receive a donation that's a tax deduction for your W-2 income. And then if that money that you need, you can take it out as a loan because you're the trustee. So you can issue yourself a loan of the 10,000.
Okay. Okay,
And just have your, you know, your records, like do good record bookkeeping and record keeping.
okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, next we have Ansi. I'm not sure. Eh, You're
It's
on
Anthony.
mute.
Tennessee.
Ansi, okay, awesome. All right, I like your background. Fancy.
Yeah, so I actually have a couple of questions. First question being which state is best for me to file this trust?
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's a good.
I'm thinking about between Delaware and Nevada. So
Mhm. Yeah. So the state doesn't matter because it's a common law jurisdiction trust. So the state statutes for Delaware, for New York, for Washington, for California, all that stuff is not embedded within the entity. So the state is not going to regulate the entity. So what you're describing is what you would do for statutory entities. This is a non-statutory entity. So that is a good strategy for an LLC or a corporation or a statutory trust. But for this, it doesn't matter because it operates under common law jurisdiction. There's no state statutes or codes inside of the contract.
oh, okay, so that means it doesn't matter which state. Okay, cool. Now with the
So
trust, you
you
said
got You could
go ahead.
operate this trust in all 50 states and in all the US territories. So, for example, when you have a statutory entity, you can only operate that entity in that state. So, for example, if I set up an LLC in Nevada, I can only operate my LLC in Nevada. Right. If I wanted to go do business in Georgia, I have to register my LLC as a foreign entity in Georgia. A lot of people don't know that. And so sometimes they're doing business and they think that they're doing it legally and they're not because you're going and doing transactions in Georgia and you're not even registered as a legitimate business in Georgia. You're registered all the way in Nevada. So that is a restriction that the statutory entities have. And with the beauty of this type of trust, you don't have those restrictions.
Okay, that's good. Now can a ministry own a business?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the difference between having a business trust and a ministry trust if they can both own businesses?
I mean, well, the most apparent reason. So a ministry, it doesn't really have that many restrictions on the assets that it could possess. So it can own a business, it can own stocks, it can own crypto, it can own real estate, it can own all those things. The benefit is that the ministry is exempt from federal taxes. So if you have that income coming into the business and you don't label it as income, then it won't trigger a taxable event and you're fine. So I mean the major difference is that the business trust has to file taxes and the ministry doesn't.
That's it. So do we still need a business trust in that effect?
So, I mean, it depends on the, you know, it depends on the type of business, right? So, I mean, listen, um, does your ministry have to own a business? No, it doesn't, right? But you want to operate your ministry the way it's supposed to be operated, right? So do you want to be doing like all these business transactions? Like if you have, you know, if you have a hair salon, right? Do you want your ministry to own the hair salon? Not really, unless it's something dealing with the ministry, which is, oh, well, my hair salon services cancer patients and we give away all of these, you know, treatments and stuff, right? That's in alignment. So your ministry can own that hair salon that has the mission of servicing cancer patients, right? So if you are operating a for-profit business, I would tell you stay in the for-profit side, right? We want to deal ethically. And if you are dealing on the philanthropic side, then do business with the ministry.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, who's next? Hold on, I have one in the chat and then I'll go to Brian. So what address do we use for the ministry trust if the trust holds the family and you live in the home? So you want to use a virtual address. You want to use a virtual address or a PO box or any other type. But if you're applying for the EIN, the IRS doesn't accept PO boxes. So once again, you want to use a virtual address, which is different from your home address. So you can go to, I recommend iPostal, and it's in your email that you received for this workshop. All right, so next we're going to go to Brian.
My one last question is on documentation for a trust where it showcases the capitalization for the red text as being capital or lowercase. Is it good good procedure to go with the capitalization of what's stated in that specific text at that point in time? So like there's
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
you want to, keep it the way that it is with the capitals
I
and the
know
lower.
because I know there's certain meanings within the law for why it's capitalized and why it's lowercase. So that's why I want to make sure. Um,
Yes.
okay. All right, I might have to go back and check some things. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome, Brian. Who's next? Is it Dr. T?
Yes. I was like, my hand being lowered. Okay. I thought I
I was
lowered my own.
I was about to. No, I'm kidding.
Girl, don't let me come spank you. Okay. All right. So, in reference to, because somebody else was asking me this, like we had all of our students become ministers before.
Uh-huh.
But there's a form that you have to file if you're going to go through with that. Which form is that?
I don't know the form off the top of my head, but it is the ministerial benefits form. So,
Okay.
it's on the website. So if you search the ministerial benefits, you should find it. And I have it somewhere. I don't know where it is. So if you're not able to find it, let me know and I'll find it for you.
Yeah, because I filled it out one time and I forgot. I think I deleted it by accident when I was trying to send it for everybody else. And so I'm just like, okay, what form was that? When it comes to our ministry trust, and you were saying that the 5,000, I did want to confirm. It's just kind of slick that they don't want us to do more than 5,000 because it becomes a for-profit with the ministry trust or the nonprofit, so to speak. So in everything that we do, we have to receive it as an actual gift, correct?
Donate. Yep, as a donation gift, yes, or a tithe. You can label it whatever you want. It's a tithe, it's a gift, it's a donation. Yes.
So like many times I'm part of another community and they always said through PayPal donation, you're sending a donation, you're sending a donation. That's when it becomes tax exempt, correct?
What, when you receive the donation?
Correct. I mean,
Yes,
how,
yes,
so when
yes, yes.
we don't have to, do we have to report that those things are donations?
No, you don't have to do any reporting with the IRS. No. So you want to keep your own personal bookkeepings and your own records, but it's not like a 501 where your records are subject to scrutiny. So if you went through the whole 501 route, then you do have to submit your records. But if you are doing the 508, you don't.
But we did the 508, correct?
Correct.
Oh,
Yep. So
that's
you,
slick. That's a slick
yeah,
move.
it's a great move.
Yeah, I mean, it's a slick move. No, I mean, I just think, again, people don't know the difference. And I was very apprehensive. I'm like, should we do the 501c3? But the 508, it's like sometimes they don't spell it out completely what the benefits are. they make it difficult for us to understand. Let me put it that way. That technically you don't have to go that route unless it's, like you said, it's 5,000. My last question was in reference to when we are filling out for bank purposes, now that we have this EIN number and we have, as an example, our certificate notarized, we can actually go online and submit those documentations and open up the bank, correct?
Correct. Yeah, you can do the online process. I usually tell people, like, for example, I recommend like Ally Bank because it's an online bank, and then all you have to do is just submit your certificate online, let them know what your EIN, tell them you want to open up a trust bank account, and then you'll get your bank account opened up. So yeah.
So the question is, because I literally just saw where somebody was having some problems with Ally Bank and they're wanting another type of copy of certification of the of the ministry trust. What other documentation will we be giving them?
So sometimes they want to see the actual notarized like bylaws or declaration page. So like for the ministry trust, it would be like the fourth page, which is that one page that's notarized, or the last page before the Schedule A. So they want to see that it is an actual legal entity, and they want to see the actual trust that is notarized, but you don't have to give them all the pages. You just got to give them the signature page.
Okay, gotcha. That's what I need a confirmation on. Thank you kindly.
You're welcome kindly. All right, and then we got Ansi. So we got Ansi, and then after Ansi, we have Niquasap, and then we're gonna wrap up for today, guys. So Ansi.
Ashawanique.
Oh, what is it?
Ashawanique.
Ashawanique. Okay, thank you so much. That's very unique. My sister, her name is Yannick. Love it. So, Ansi, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think that's something you said. I wanted you to go over it again, and I think it pertained with um the trust being, oh Jesus. Um okay, I can't even remember my thoughts. So I think we went over the states where it goes. I think you were talking to what's his name? Was it a good Gustavo? I can't remember exactly what you were talking about. It was really important. I can't remember it. Um
I don't know. We were talking about addresses and stuff like that. I see that you have a question in the chat. The question is, can the grantor be a close friend?
yeah, that's one of the question I had, yes.
Yeah, so the grantor, yes, they can be a close friend.
So that's not gonna create any problem because I think you said something like if there's any relationship between the grantor and the trustee.
Yeah,
Okay.
so what I meant by that is the grantor cannot have influence over the trustee. Can they be blood related? Yes, they can be blood related. But they cannot have any influence, control, or power, or the grantor cannot tell the trustee what to do.
All right, cool.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. So, Asawanique says, what happens if we don't have a grantor or a board member at the current moment? Well, you need a grantor in order to legalize your trust. The grantor can be an entity, so you might want to consider that. And then as far as board members, your board members, they do have to be natural persons. So, initially your trust is going to be legal as long as you have a grantor and a trustee, even if you're missing board members, right? It's not like overnight we want you to have 3 to 5 board members. But if you only are operating your trust with one member, you're not operating it correctly. So you want to always be operating your trust efficiently, effectively, and so you want to have that minimum. You want to meet that minimum. So you might want to think of, a friend, a cousin, a neighbor, a sibling, as someone who could serve as your board member, a spouse, someone. So let me see, what was it? Can they add after the trust is notarized? Yes, you can appoint your successor after the trust is notarized. You can appoint your board members after the trust is notarized. It doesn't have to be right now. So you can start legalizing your trust and operating it without having all of those positions fulfilled at the moment. All right. So I'm not going to take any more questions after this. So I have Dr. T, I have Brian, and then I have Marcus in the chat, and then we're going to wrap up because we're almost at the 3-hour mark, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So, Dr. T?
Super quick. If my sister and I are opening multiple trusts, is it a conflict of interest if we both are listed as co-trustee on each business trust or on each trust that we own? In the event of our business trust partner on business ventures together in the future, as an example, similar to if we both hold holding companies, that partner is on the operating agreement.
Okay, it's a loaded question. So one, your business trust and your sister's business trust are two separate entities. So you can be her co-trustee, she can be your co-trustee. What was the part about the holding company and the operating agreement?
Because they're both on the same operating agreement, that's why.
Okay, so the operating agreement is for an LLC because we don't use operating agreements in LLC. So what are we discussing? Is the holding company an LLC?
Yeah, well, Dominique is an LLC. That was the one
Okay,
question we forgot to
okay.
ask you. Mhm.
All right, so my question is, on the operating agreement, whoever the authorized member is should be on there. So if it's natural persons, which is you and your sister, then your name is on there. But if it is the holding company, which is the LLC, it should only be, excuse me, the business trust, it should only be the business trust. So if you have an LLC that's owned by a business trust, your name should not be on the operating agreement.
That's what I wanted him to hear. Thank you.
Welcome. All right, so we have two more questions. We have Brian and then we have Marcus, and then we are going to wrap it up for today. Brian?
Is there any potential legal issues for a grantor after the creation of a trust?
Is there any potential legal issues for a grantor after the creation of if the trust is sued?
Basically, or if any legal action is taken against a trust, is
The
the
trust
grantor
is
responsible?
Yeah. So no, the grantor is not responsible, okay? And it's up to the trustee to make sure that that happens, okay? So
Okay.
the trustee has to operate the trust correctly to make sure that that the grantor is not held liable for anything or not required to pay any taxes or anything dealing with the trust. The trust is its own entity. So if the trust is sued, the trust is being sued, not you or not the grantor.
Okay. And
All right.
then, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Uh, how does a holding company operate under a trust? I know it was mentioned, but I know I've seen it before in different instances. I'm assuming the holding company is the LLC.
This is a loaded question. It
Yeah, I
really
know.
is. So, I don't even think that it's appropriate for us to talk about it right now. If you want, we could
Okay.
hold on until tomorrow. Tomorrow,
Okay.
we're going to be talking about business trust. We're going to be talking about bank accounts. We're going to be talking about all that stuff because a holding company doesn't have to be an LLC. It could be an S corporation. It could be any, it could be a corporation. So, it's I don't know. I do
That's
know, I
fine.
just like it's a lot. It's a lot. Like for us
That's
to
fine. We'll
even
wait.
talk about holding
We'll
companies
wait.
right now,
That's fine.
it's like, yeah. So let me see. Marcus said, what if you don't have a beneficiary? If you don't have a beneficiary, then you don't have a beneficiary. So it's going to remain blank until you put a beneficiary. And if you don't have a beneficiary, then what's going to happen is when the trust is terminated, your assets are not going to have a place to go. And so it's going to end up in the court system. If it depends. So if you have a trustee, then the trustee is going to choose where it goes if you don't have a beneficiary. But if you don't, then it's going to have to, if there's any claims, right, without having a beneficiary, then that's going to end up in court. All right, so we are going to wrap it up for today. So I do have homework for you guys, right? Everyone should be in the Facebook group community. And what I want you to do is I want you to post when you are going to notarize your trust. So we have just set up all three of our trusts. On Monday, we set up the business trust. Tuesday, we set up the family trust. And today we set up our ministry trust. So now it's time for us to finalize our trust and get it notarized and legalized so that we can do the next steps, which is opening up our bank account and acquiring assets and transferring assets. So please post in the Facebook group when you plan on notarizing your trust so that we can hold you accountable. Me, Aya, the rest of the team, and everyone in the Facebook group, all the members, okay? We want to hold you accountable for when you're actually going to legalize your trust and begin to operate it, okay? So, other than that, tomorrow, what we're going to do is you're going to receive an email from Aya with the resources that we're going to need for tomorrow and the Zoom link. So tomorrow we are going to be going over trust corporate credit. We're going to go over our board meetings for our 3 entities and promissory notes for how much we're going to fund our trust fund with. And then we're going to apply for our second EIN, which is the business trust EIN, okay? So prepare for that, and I will see you guys here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you guys have a beautiful and amazing day, and I will make sure that Aya goes and approves all of the requests for the Facebook group so that we're able to do our homework and, like I said, hold you guys accountable. So if you have any other further questions, please save them for tomorrow, write them down, because I will answer your questions thoroughly tomorrow, especially if we're talking about the business trust and things of that nature. So you guys have an amazing, beautiful day. I will see you guys here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.